Parshas Yisro. The pasuk tells us, "Vayishma Yisro chayhein Midyan chaysen Moshe," the priest of Midyan, the father of Moshe Rabbeinu. Eis kol asher asa l'kin l'Moshe l'Yisrael Hamay, ki yatzi Hashem es Yisrael miMitzrayim. So Rashi over here comments and says on the word Yisro, Sheva Shemais Nikralai. He had 7 names: Reuel, Yeser, Yisro, Chovov, Chover, Keni, and Putil. So why are he called all these names? So Rashi says, Yeser Hashem She Yiter Parshachas B'Teira. He was called Yeser originally because of he added a parsha to Klal Yisrael, to the Torah. What's the parsha? Vata Sechazeh, the Eitzah of going ahead and setting up a judicial system with lower courts, medium courts, and higher courts. That's all Yisro's idea. So that's Yeser. Yisro, and Rashi says that when he was Nizgayer, Kiyam Mitzvahs, Haisivalo Ois Achas Al Shmai. That's where the name Yisro came from. Originally it was Yeser, because of the added parsha. But what does Rashi go ahead and say the added parsha is? What's the added parsha? Rashi says the parsha of Ata Sechazeh Mikol Ha'om. That you should go ahead and appoint lower court judges, that you don't have to sit the whole day and adjudicate every single case. The question is that that's really not that's not the beginning of the parsha that Yisro added. He first came and he sees the situation. The people are standing there, Menabaker Vadair. Moshe Rabbeinu is paskening every single shaila, from what bracha to make on pretzels to the most serious of shailas. And Yisro says, hey, this is a bad idea. You're not going to be able to survive. You're going to be worn out. There's something wrong over here. This is not the way to run a railroad. And then he goes ahead and says, Mata Sechazeh, you know what the Eitzah is? Go ahead and set up this court system of lower courts and higher courts. The question is, why does Rashi say that the parsha of Yisro begins with of Va'ata Sechazeh, the suggestion to go ahead and to set up this court system? Why doesn't Rashi say that the parsha that Yisro added was when Yisro said, guess what? This is a bad situation. So Meir Shapiro says a very true thought, and that is, anybody can criticize. Anybody can point out faults. Anybody can say this is not the way to run things. This doesn't make any sense. But most of those people that go ahead and make the criticism, and they walk away, and you figure it out. The kunz of Yisro was, not only did he point out the problem, but he gave a solution. The solution is the court system. Therefore, the parsha that Yisro added is Ata Sechazeh, the solution. That's what's important. Pointing out the problem, other people can do. But to go ahead and to point out the problem and to provide a solution, that's a worthwhile addition to the Torah. But the Orach Chaim HaKodesh, Rabbi say, makes another point over here. Isn't it ironic that we have to have Yisro, who is a non-Jew, come and go ahead and suggest something to the Jewish people that they couldn't figure it out themselves? Well, why is it that Yisro had that schus, and why is it that the Torah goes ahead and spends a part of this whole parsha talking about Yisro's Eitzah, Yisro's Kritik, Yisro's Eitzah. V'nira kitam adover, says the Ohr HaChaim HaKodesh. Laharitz Hashem has been a Yisrael Hador to teach that generation. V'chol dor v'dor. Ki yesh b'umas gedolim, yesh b'umas gedolim b'havana u'vaskola. This is teaching us a lesson. And guess what? The lesson is, Rabbi, Jews, for that generation, for all generations, you should know that there are very, very intelligent and smart and genius Gentiles as well. You know, there is this type of mindset, especially in the Olam HaYeshivas, as goyim vesen garnished. You know, was is a goy. That's not true. And we think maybe the Rebbe Shalom chose us as his people because we're so smart. No. Zot the Ohr HaChaim HaKodesh. There are very, very, very smart Jews, non-Jews as well. Look at history. Galileo wasn't Jewish. Michelangelo wasn't Jewish. Thomas Jefferson wasn't Jewish. Benjamin Franklin wasn't Jewish. Bill Gates isn't Jewish. Elon Musk isn't Jewish. Warren Buffett, the greatest stock picker in the history of the stock market, he's not Jewish. What's the pshat? The Teretz is Sadah. There are smart Jews and there are also dumb Jews. And there are smart Gentiles and there are dumb Gentiles. But the reason the Rebbe Shalom chose us was not because of our IQ, or our smarts, or ingenuity. The Rebbe Shalom chose us because Am Skula Hashem Elokecha. We're an Am Skula. We're a special nation. You know why? Because we come from the likes of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Because of our forefathers. Because of our character. Because of our midas. That's why we are an Am Skula, a chosen nation. Not because our average IQ is smarter than the average population. No. It's because we're B'nai Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and what they represent. Chesed, Avodah, Torah, etc. That's what makes it special. And to prove the point, who comes up with this idea? A non-Jew. Not only a non-Jew, an Oved Avodah Zarah, an idol worshiper. Not only an idol worshiper, a Kaimer Avodah Zarah, a priest Avodah Zarah, because he's also smart. And Zot the Ohr HaChaim HaKodesh, that's why the Torah is emphasizing this here, to know that we were given the Torah not because we're so smart. We were given the Torah because we're a Mamlechas Kehanim V'Goy Kodesh. We're a nation of priestly people. We're a holy people. That's why the Rebbe Shalom chose us. Not because of our IQ, but because of our hearts.